Hi guys, Arthur here from Homeowner DIY. In this video, I'm going to be replacing a 30-inch range hood with something very similar. Now, between these two, I haven't actually seen the units themselves, but they look fairly close to being the same, so I'm hoping that it'll be basically a remove and replace, but we'll see how this goes. So what we'll do now is look at our setup.
This is the existing range hood. This looks pretty common for new construction, just a low-end basic unit. It has one fan, one light, on off for the fan, and then on off for the light. There's an offset for the duct. They use duct tape instead of foil tape, but this is our setup here. So what we'll do now is material and tools.
Or this is the materials list for this job. So I have a 1x4. This is going to be to help reinforce the unit to the cabinet. A 6-inch 90, a 6-inch connector. I don't know if I need these things or not, so I'm just going to take them with me in case. Moret's, also known as wire nuts. A 1/2-inch plastic grommet. So this is a 1/2-inch Lumex fitting. I don't know why the units don't come with these things, but they don't. Foil tape, and then number 8 by 1.5 deck screws. Guys, this is the materials list of the stuff that you're probably going to need to supply. So what we'll do now is look at our unit.
This is the unit. In the small clear bag is clips and screws for fastening. The one thing that you don't see here that comes with the unit is the rectangular boot, but we will talk about that when we get to it. Guys, this is the remainder of the material list. So what we'll do now is the tools list.
All right, this is the tools list for this job. So this is what I think I'm going to need, or I might need, because I haven't seen the unit itself. I have my finishing kit. I'll need the volt stick, maybe channel lock pliers, my pouch, so hand tools, measuring tape, pencil, knife, cordless kit. I will need the impact. We'll see if I will have to drill any holes. Maybe I might need a cordless drill as well, but of course, like usual, I'll take everything. For safety equipment, safety glasses, earplugs, my Ryobi drill bit sets, once again in case I have to drill any holes. My socket set in case there are any bolts that need to be taken out. Skillsaw, and then an extension cord. Guys, once again, this is what I'm going to take with me because I haven't seen the unit itself, so I'm not quite sure what I need. But with that in mind, let's install this new range hood.
I'm going to start by removing the ductwork. Now, for some reason, they used duct tape. I've always been taught to use foil tape. Duct tape, what it'll do with time, will break down the adhesive, and then it's not going to stick properly anymore. So besides the duct tape here, I also measured the size of the duct, and it wound up being 5-inch, not 6-inch. So the information I was given for the material was inaccurate, so I actually had the wrong size duct as well. Here I removed the panel that was covering up the electrical. So there's the screw there. Now the electrical is a hot, neutral, and a ground. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut off the breaker, and then I'm going to check to confirm power shut off. With power off, I'll check with the volt stick. So this is a dual range volt stick. Blue is one range, green is the other range. If power is still on, it'll be flashing red and make a noise. But in this case, power's been shut off. So this is what an electrician told me when it comes to removing the wires. Do the hot first, do the neutral second, and then do the ground third. I'm putting the Moret back onto the hot. This is just as a safety precaution, even though power is off. Sometimes you'll have to turn power back on and come back another day to finish something. So this is just a typical thing that I'll do out of habit. And here I'm removing the ground screw so I can remove the ground wire. The old unit here has 4 screws that fasten the unit to the bottom of the cabinet. So just using an impact, I'm loosening the screws. You don't have to take them out all the way. There is a cutout that you can slide the unit out. And then once that's all done, you can go ahead and remove the screws the rest of the way. Now the unit can be slid out of place. So the plastic grommet is still having the wire secured to the unit. So once the unit has been pulled down, I'll use a set of channel locks and remove the plastic grommet so the wire will be free from the unit, so the unit can be removed. So for this particular unit, there is a screw in the middle just above a black plastic cutout. The screw needs to be removed, and then there's a tab that can be pushed up, and that's going to allow the grate and the bottom covers to be removable. Inside the blue bubble wrap is the transitional boot between the unit and the circular duct. This is the one part that wasn't in the material list because it was still inside the unit. Just like with the first unit, underneath this cover here is the electrical, so I'm removing the screw, and then the cover is held in with 2 tabs on the other end. Once again, just like the first unit, there is a black hot, a white neutral, and then there is a green ground screw that is connected into the body on this unit. This unit doesn't have one solid wire, it has a bunch of small strands. So what I'm doing here is I'm just twisting the strands together to make it into one tight wire, which will be easier for the wire nut to connect to. So this is the grommet that is going to fit into this little knockout here. So the knockout has to be broken out using a flathead screwdriver and a hammer. With a flathead and a hammer, just gently tap out the knockout, and this is the grommet. There is a directional door, so you want to make sure that once the wire goes through, it's going to get caught on the door so it stays nice and solid. Here I'm using a hammer to tap out the rectangular knockout. What I realized is I should have used a flathead screwdriver, and right where the parts that connect the knockout to the body of the range hood, I should have tapped with the flathead screwdriver in those specific spots. Now we're removing the previous fastener screws. These will get in the way of the new unit sitting flush. So you can also see, because there's a frame on the very outside, there's going to be a full space where the plastic grommet for the electrical will fit into. Otherwise, I'd have to drill a hole into the bottom of the upper cabinet to make this space for the grommet. With the old duct tape removed, I'm going to put new foil tape along the seams. So have the foil tape go right down the middle of the seam so you maximize the coverage on both sides of the seam. And then make sure that you stick the foil tape nice and securely. Push all the way around, be thorough about it, because we want to minimize any air loss. Grabbing the rectangular boot from the unit, this is how the duct is going to transition to the unit. So I'll just slide over, and what I'm going to do is I will tape this bottom seam to keep the two together and then minimize any air loss. Here, I put the duct back in. I'm going to replace the one screw that I took out. So when it comes to the foil tape, what I do to measure how much I need is I just take the foil tape, I go around the pipe and give myself an extra couple inches. And this is how I figure out how much tape I need without any measuring. To secure the rectangular damper to the unit, there are 2 screws. So there's one screw that goes in the front. So they do give you with the unit a Torx transitional bit. I don't know why they didn't just use Phillips, but this is the screw in the front, and then you can slide the damper to the left and right until you line up a hole on the other side of the damper, which will have a matching screw get screwed into. So for the screw in the back, it'll be a rinse and repeat. So for the damper, I'm going to tape it all the way around for 2 reasons. One, that's going to keep the damper in place, it'll keep it more solid. And then the second part is that it's going to minimize the air loss. This thing is pretty flimsy. I mean, I think you're going to lose a fair bit of airflow through all the gaps. One other thing to keep in mind, the plastic covering, the protective covering for the unit has now been removed. You see in the back, the white cover that was left. No one's gonna see it, but be sure to remove this plastic cover. And I will tell you this right now, that it's going to be a bit of a pain to do it. It's stuck on really well, but that's just to keep the body of the unit from getting scratched or damaged. The mounting areas are the same as the previous unit, so you have the two cutouts here. I'm going to use an 1.5" deck screw, and it's going to slide into the very end. So the 1.5" deck screw is going to go through two pieces of material, so I don't actually need the piece of wood that I cut down. So I made a mark here and I made a mark here. It just so happens in the front, the screw wound up between the two pieces of wood. The back one hit both, but that was just what happened on this one here. Ideally, I'd like to screw through both because it'll give more fastening to the actual unit going through more than one piece of wood. This is why I brought the extra wood that I didn't wind up needing. So the wire here is a little bit short to fit into the grommet where it is, which means the unit is going to have to get propped up on something so it's higher. Here's the wire that's been fitted into the grommet. Make sure that the outer sheathing gets pushed into the grommet so it catches on the door. So this is the outside here. Now we'll look at the inside. So looking at it from the inside, you can see the white sheathing has been pushed all the way through the grommet into the unit. The unit has now been installed, so there's a screw here, and then there's one in the front. I put the third one in the middle just as an extra because I was between two pieces of wood in the front. Here are the wires. This is the ground screw. So this is going to be the opposite for rewiring. It'll be ground, neutral, and then hot. I've tied the two neutrals together, and then I put the wire nut, the Muret, on. Now I can't do this holding the camera, it's just an awkward angle, but looking at the hots, I have tied the two hots together and it just doesn't have the wire nut on it. Make sure also that you give these wire nuts a tug to make sure that they're nice and solid. With all the wires connected, the cover has to go back on. So this is the wire. It has the two tabs, which I'm pointing to here, and then the tabs will fit into these areas here, and then the screw will go back on. It's also a good idea to test the unit now to make sure that everything is getting power. Flip the breaker back on before you put this cover back on. So here the lights are on. Turn on the blower, test out both speeds, make sure everything is working. Once you've confirmed everything is working, then the covers can be put back on to cover the fan and then the left and right sides of the unit. So the side covers can be put back in. So the side covers are directional. There's two tabs that go to the front. There's springs in the back of the unit to push the tab forward. And then when you look at the sides of the covers, one side is a double layer, the other side is a single layer. So with all these things in mind, you can go ahead and put the covers back in. With both side covers back in, the screen can be put back in. To lock the screen in, the plastic rectangular cover right in front of the screen can be pushed back. Once it is locked into place, this screw can be put back into locking that into place so the screen doesn't fall out. And this is the locking screw being reinstalled. One final test is to check for air loss from the foil tape or of any of the other joints. Since they're like press joints, you can have air loss around the swivel portions of the fitting. So do one final check and don't be afraid to add any extra foil tape if you need to. So this is the unit fully installed. Everything's been tested. There's no air leaks. The unit is nice and solid. So this was actually an easier install because it was very similar to the previous unit. One thing that will have to be done is this will have to be repainted because the older unit was marginally bigger than the new one. But with that in mind, what we'll do now is run over this job.
Okay, so that concludes this job. So this job went very smoothly. One hiccup was I bought the wrong size duct, but I was giving the wrong information. But everything worked out well. The dimensions were fairly close, so I'm very happy with the way this went. Now, like with every other job, you'll have some nuances. Because there was a 5/8 inch false space, I didn't have to drill a hole for the plastic grommet for the electrical. Otherwise, everything went nice and smoothly on this one. And one thing, when it comes to duct, you don't use duct tape, you use foil tape. Duct tape is the end on be all for a lot of people, but in this case here, this is the perfect example of what happens when duct tape gets old, that it starts to break apart. The adhesive doesn't really stick anymore, and it becomes an issue with air loss down the line. So when it comes to ducts, I always recommend, and I've always only seen foil tape instead of duct tape. The time on this job. The time was about an hour and a half. I think that's going to be pretty typical, pretty common. I didn't run into any issues on this job. You are going to fight with the plastic wrap that protects the new unit to get it off, so it's not going to come off all that easy. But this job was an hour and a half, and I think for most jobs like this, these range hoods will be between an hour and a half to 2 hours. The cost of this job. The units and the few parts, the cost was about $600 in total. So I think the unit was somewhere around $500, maybe $550 plus tax. I only needed the plastic grommet and then a little bit of foil tape. Other than that, this was actually a nice and easy project. I didn't run into any issues, and this is what happens when you buy something that's very similar and everything works out. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you learned something. I hope something here is going to help you on your project when you need to go ahead and do that. Guys, next time, please hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next project.